Hello, I'm very excited about sharing the February 2023 Apocabox contents with you. Now, I've already put it all together, but I'm going to break it out here and tell you a little bit about the story of it and what's in this kit. So this kit here wasn't something that I was going to go out and show in the snow. I wouldn't be using it out there in the snow. So I decided to do a video here. And it's a roll. So I'm going to roll it out. And if you can see this, it's a World War II emergency fishing kit. This was kept in the lifeboats and life rafts. And what's pretty cool about this, it has two strings up top that you can put around your neck. This wraps around here, around your waist, and then you tie it. When Creek had these made, the one he had, it only had one lead on it. So, on the other side, you have to sew on another string or something so you can tie it around your back. I have not done that yet, but it was made so you can wear it as an apron. You have everything right here in front of you. Now this is a replica of the kit that in World War II was provided. So this was really cool, knowing the history about it and being able to put a kit together that basically, was identical to the one that they had used. I like, historical gear. It's always fascinated me. So it may be easier just to show this way here. And he has the original, a picture of it, and also the original survival instructions that was provided in the kit. So, I'm going to pull this out and I'll let you take a look at that up close. But in the center, it has written the survival information that they had provided, from fishing instructions to fish and tackle and how to use it, different turtles, birds, seaweeds, eels. Just tells you a bunch of different stuff on survival that they had provided. So I thought that was really cool, and it's a cool read. I'm going to show you the original and the replica, what it looks like. So that is the replica. And you can see that each one of these that you put together, and then you put them in the pouches up here. This is the original, a picture of the original and how it was set up. So very, very cool. He provided a bobber as well. So if you have surface fishing that you want to do, you have a bobber for that. If they're only down a few feet and such, you can tie on your bobber. Now, they added in the original pork rind bait. The replica is a rawhide bait. So these are strips of rawhide that you can take and put them on a hook, throw them in the water, and then they're going to soften and be more pliable and look like a fish going through the water. So you've got some artificial bait that if you catch a fish with this, then you can start using fish parts and such as bait and so on. Now I'm going to keep this right in here like that and put it back in the pocket, and also with the bobber. Now they provided a net in the original. You won't be able to see that, but it had a wire in it and a handle and then the netting. It was rather small, but it would be useful. Creek decided to add a net as well. And you can put a stick in this. You can, put many different items in here to make this into a net. But it's a big net. And you have probably an inch and a half, an inch and a quarter, inch and a half hole here that you can fit a stick sapling through and make yourself a net. So that was pretty cool. You got yourself a dip net, because these are hand fishing rigs. You would fish off the side of the boat or the raft. Straight down, you let out your line, you hold on to your fishing rig in one hand, like this here. You hang on to it, and you drop your line down, and then you jig up and down. I've done a lot of hand lining in my lifetime in my bay, the Atlantic Ocean. So hand lining is very useful. And ice fishing, I've done a lot of hand lining ice fishing as well. So this can come in handy for that as well. And so there's actually a few jigs here that I could use for ice fishing in my area. So that's the net. I'm going to put that back in the pouch. And then I'm going to show you the next item in line. Next is this right here. And this was a rig that you could put leaders on. He provided us with multiple leaders. And also it has a piece of sandpaper here for sharpening your hooks. I've got a couple, actually these are little elastics for hair ties, and I just put them around just to help. I could have put it around here too, but I didn't bother. But just to help keep things into place. But as you see, the hooks just hook over and into this hole. So that would be the next one. Now this kind of got me a little excited. And this is a treble hook. He provided us with 100-pound test braided fishing line. And that's great for this treble hook. This is great for casting out and catching something like a board that's floating through the ocean and such that you may be able to use, a jug, just many things that you may be able to snag and drag it back to your raft. So I've actually put hockey tape over the ends just so they're not poking into everything. But again, I have those elastics just holding it into place. Now this has, like I said, 100-pound braided fishing line on it. But very, very cool. Now this one was one of my favorite. And this is a harpoon. So I've got elastic holding it on. That's what it looks like right there. You can see that. And it has this piece of metal here that you can put the tip of your oar in here and then run the line up the handle. You can stab down into your fish, thus this going in and hooking it underneath, and you can pull your oar back and then you can hand line the fish in. So that little harpoon, that was very, very cool to me. Really cool design. I love that. So it goes in here. And then next is another, I've got this on the 100-pound braided fishing line again, and it's just a spoon jig, but a very heavy spoon jig that you could set down there and just start jigging up and down and such. A very, very nice very sharp, but I wanted to put it on heavier line just because you could catch some pretty big fish with that jig. In the next pouch, hopefully with the other methods that I've already shown, you've got yourself a fish, because this one here is a bare hook, a leader, and what we have is a thinner, I'm not sure the poundage on this, but it is a braided fishing line. So they're not going to see this as well, and for your smaller fish and such, this would be optimum. Now, I could use, many different fish parts to use as bait for this, but this one here would be a baited setup. Now this one is a twisted tail jig. I've caught a lot of fish on a lure just like that. And white with a pink head can be a very good combination. So it also has that lighter braided fishing line on it. So just another one. Now this I would use for ice fishing, and I'm sure I'd be bringing out, many different type of fish with this lure. I'll come back to this. Next is another jig. This one here is a feathered jig. I've also caught lots of fish on this. It's just your common jig that catches fish. I've caught a lot of bass. I've caught, panfish and so on jigs like this. I don't want to unhook this because I've got it hooked in underneath, and that's the only reason I haven't unhooked it. But it also has that lighter braided fishing line. So I wanted to zoom in like that just so you could see them up closer. Now, this here is what Creek made as a replica to the one that they provided. This is a knife. It's in this tube and such to help it float if you drop it into the water and such. Now, this one here is, you can see, it's basically a pocket knife blade that they put a couple pins through just to hold it in there. Now, you could do the handle up a little prettier and such, but for cutting all this line and setting this up, I use this knife. So it does work. It's not the prettiest, but doesn't have to be pretty to work. Now this is a piece of PVC and a cork on the end. They did provide you with another cork. If I wanted to, I could put added hooks and such in this, put the other cork in here, and I could have a little container for hooks and such. But he has this, so you can just slide it in like that there as a sheath, and it's going to help keep it afloat. Now PVC, I'm not sure if it floats by itself. I think it would. It's plastic. And there is holes through there, so it's not airtight. So, but I'm not sure that would help. But definitely that wooden handle is going to help it float for sure. So, I'm in my kitchen. I just filled a pot full of water. The knife does float like this, but PVC does not float, and the cork floats. So if you put this in the water like this, the cork keeps it afloat. You pull the cork out, this goes right to the bottom. If I take this and put it in like this and drop it in the water, it floats until it fills full of water and it goes straight down. So that's just a, for your information, that this is a good sheath and such, but But normally, if you drop your knife, you're gonna have it out in your hand like this, and it will float that you can reach and grab it. This, I could actually use this as a container with the other cork, which then it would float because it'd be airtight, and put it in another pouch if I wanted to. So that's just some options with this. Then on these last two pouches, what I've done is I've got an empty one that I can add another lure and fishing line to. And a smaller one, and I've actually put some of those black elastics over this, so if I break one or lose one, I have extras. So that's just something that I added, but that is the fishing kit. And like I said, I was very excited about this, and putting it together was fun. So hopefully you enjoyed this as much as I enjoyed sharing it with you. And wow, I really like this one and what Creek and his staff was thinking when they put this together. Take care, all the best, and thanks for watching.